In a world filled with constant noise and chaos, finding peace seems like an impossible dream for many. But what if there was a simple yet powerful tool that could bring calmness to our lives? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the profound wisdom of ancient traditions like Buddhism and how they can transform our modern lives. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. The frustration builds up inside you, and before you know it, you're honking, yelling, and feeling completely stressed out. Sound familiar? We've all been there. But what if there was another way to handle such situations? Enter the power of not reacting. It's the art of staying calm and composed in the face of life's challenges. But it's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about understanding that you have the power to choose how you respond to any situation. Think about a time when someone said something hurtful to you. Your immediate reaction might have been to lash out in anger or sadness. But what if instead of reacting impulsively, you took a moment to pause and reflect? This simple shift in perspective can make all the difference. At Wisdom Woven, we believe that the key to unlocking this power lies in the teachings of Buddhism. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is caused by our attachment to desires and aversions. When we react to life's ups and downs with attachment or aversion, we only perpetuate our suffering. But by cultivating mindfulness and awareness, we can break free from this cycle of reactivity. We can learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. This doesn't mean we become emotionless robots. It means we become masters of our own minds. So, how exactly do we cultivate non-reactivity in our daily lives? It starts with simple practices like meditation, where we learn to quiet the mind and observe our thoughts without judgment. It also involves incorporating mindfulness into our everyday activities, like eating, walking, or even washing dishes. But the benefits of non-reactivity extend far beyond just reducing stress. Studies have shown that practicing mindfulness can improve focus, increase resilience, and enhance overall well-being. Imagine being able to navigate life's challenges with ease and grace, no matter what comes your way. Our goal at Wisdom Woven is simple: to empower you with the tools and wisdom you need to live a more mindful and fulfilling life. And with your support, we believe we can reach our goal of 100 likes on this video. Together, let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to join our growing community of wisdom seekers. Thank you for being here. Lesson 1: Understanding reactivity. Reactivity is like a reflex, an automatic response to situations that trigger us emotionally. Imagine someone accidentally stepping on your foot in a crowded place. Your immediate reaction might be to shout or push them away. That's reactivity in action. It's quick, instinctive, and often driven by strong emotions. Think of a time when you received a critical email from your boss. Did you feel a surge of anger or anxiety? Maybe you fired off a heated response without fully thinking it through. That's another example of reactivity. It's when our emotions take control, leading us to act impulsively. But why do we react this way? It's rooted in our evolutionary biology. Our brains are wired to detect threats and respond rapidly to ensure survival. So when we perceive a threat, whether real or imagined, our body goes into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Reactivity is our brain's way of protecting us from harm. However, not all reactions are helpful or appropriate. Reactivity can lead to conflicts, damaged relationships, and regrettable decisions. That's where mindfulness comes in. By becoming aware of our reactions, we can learn to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Picture this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your frustration builds as the minutes tick by. Suddenly, a car cuts you off, triggering an intense wave of anger. You feel your muscles tense, your heart racing. In that moment, you have a choice: to react with aggression or to respond with calmness. Non-reactivity doesn't mean suppressing or denying your emotions. It's about pausing, taking a breath, and choosing how to act. It's like pressing the pause button on a heated argument to cool down before saying something you'll regret. Imagine you're meditating, and a loud noise interrupts your concentration. Your initial reaction might be irritation or annoyance, but instead of letting it derail your practice, you acknowledge the distraction and gently bring your focus back to your breath. That's non-reactivity in action. In essence, non-reactivity is a superpower that empowers us to break free from the grip of our emotions. It allows us to step back, gain perspective, and act from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. So the next time you feel yourself about to react, remember, you have the power to choose how you respond. Lesson 2: The roots of reactivity in Buddhism. In Buddhism, the concept of reactivity is deeply intertwined with the understanding of suffering and the causes of suffering. At the core of Buddhist teachings lies the recognition that our reactions to the events and circumstances of life often lead to our own suffering. The Buddha taught that our reactions are rooted in our attachment to desires, aversions, and ignorance. When we react impulsively to situations, driven by our desires and aversions, we create a cycle of suffering for ourselves and others. This cycle is known as samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Reactivity keeps us bound to this cycle, perpetuating our suffering and preventing us from attaining true peace and liberation. According to Buddhist philosophy, the root cause of reactivity is our attachment to the self. We cling to a fixed sense of self, believing that our happiness and well-being depend on fulfilling our desires and avoiding what we perceive as threats or obstacles. This attachment leads to fear, anger, and anxiety when our desires are unfulfilled or our expectations are not met. The Buddha taught that the path to freedom from suffering lies in recognizing the impermanent and interconnected nature of reality. By cultivating mindfulness and awareness, we can observe our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without being swept away by them. This allows us to break free from the cycle of reactivity and cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is the practice of non-attachment, or letting go of our attachment to desires and aversions. By releasing our attachment to outcomes and learning to accept things as they are, we can free ourselves from the grip of reactivity and experience greater ease and freedom in our lives. The practice of mindfulness meditation is central to developing non-reactivity in Buddhism. Through meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions with curiosity and compassion, rather than reacting to them impulsively. This cultivates a sense of spaciousness and openness in the mind, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and wisdom. In Buddhism, non-reactivity is not about suppressing or denying our emotions, but rather about relating to them in a skillful and compassionate way. Instead of reacting blindly out of habit, we learn to pause, breathe, and respond with mindfulness and wisdom. By cultivating non-reactivity, we can break free from the cycle of suffering and discover a deeper sense of peace and freedom within ourselves. This is the power of not reacting. It is the path to liberation from the endless cycle of suffering and the key to true happiness and fulfillment. Lesson 3: The nature of emotions. Emotions, those waves that crash upon the shores of our minds, are like weather patterns in the sky of our consciousness. Just as the weather changes, emotions come and go, sometimes gentle breezes, other times raging storms. But what exactly are emotions? They're our body's way of responding to the world around us, often influenced by our thoughts, beliefs, and past experiences. Picture this. You're walking down the street, and suddenly someone bumps into you. How do you feel? Maybe a surge of anger rises within you, or perhaps you feel startled and defensive. These immediate reactions are our emotions at play, arising almost instinctively in response to external stimuli. But here's the thing, emotions are not permanent. They ebb and flow like the tide, shifting and changing with the circumstances of our lives. Understanding this impermanence is crucial. Just because you feel angry now doesn't mean you'll feel that way forever. Emotions are transient, fleeting, like clouds passing across the sky. Think of your mind as a vast landscape and emotions as the weather patterns that sweep across it. Sometimes there are clear, sunny days filled with joy and contentment. Other times, there are stormy nights where fear and sadness loom large. But just as the weather changes, so too do our emotions. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the mechanics of emotions. They often arise from our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. For example, if you believe that you're not good enough, you might experience feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. These thoughts create a ripple effect, influencing how we feel and behave. But here's where it gets interesting. While we can't always control the external events that trigger our emotions, we can learn to manage our reactions to them. This is where the power of mindfulness comes into play. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and emotions, we can begin to respond to them with greater clarity and wisdom. Imagine you're caught in a rainstorm. You have two options. You can either curse the rain and get drenched, or you can find shelter and wait for the storm to pass. Similarly, when faced with challenging emotions, we can either react impulsively or respond with mindfulness and compassion. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our emotions without judgment, allowing them to arise and dissolve without getting swept away by them. It's like watching the clouds pass by in the sky, knowing that they'll eventually disappear. So, the next time you find yourself swept up in a whirlwind of emotions, remember this: you are not your emotions. They may come and go, but beneath it all lies a deeper sense of calm and clarity. Embrace the power of mindfulness, and watch as the storms of your mind give way to a profound sense of peace. Lesson 4: Cultivating Mindfulness. Mindfulness is like a superpower hidden within us, waiting to be discovered. It's about being fully present in each moment, aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. Imagine driving a car and noticing every turn, every breeze, and every sight along the way. That's mindfulness. To cultivate mindfulness, start with simple practices. Take a few minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the sensation of air flowing in and out of your nostrils. This simple act of paying attention to your breath can anchor you in the present moment and calm your mind. Another powerful way to cultivate mindfulness is through mindful walking. Take a stroll in nature, paying attention to each step you take, the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rustle of leaves, the chirping of birds. Allow yourself to fully immerse in the experience, letting go of worries about the past or future. Mindfulness isn't just about being present. It's also about being kind to yourself. Treat yourself with compassion and understanding, just as you would a dear friend. Notice when your mind wanders or when you feel overwhelmed, and gently guide yourself back to the present moment with kindness. As you practice mindfulness, you may encounter obstacles like distractions or resistance. Instead of getting frustrated, see these challenges as opportunities to deepen your practice. Notice your thoughts without getting caught up in them, like clouds passing through the sky. With patience and persistence, you'll strengthen your mindfulness muscle over time. One beautiful aspect of mindfulness is its adaptability to daily life. You can practice mindfulness while eating, showering, or even doing household chores. Turn mundane tasks into opportunities for presence and appreciation. Notice the colors and textures of your food, the warmth of water on your skin, the rhythm of sweeping the floor. Mindfulness isn't about achieving a state of perfect calm. It's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience. Allow yourself to feel all emotions: joy, sadness, anger, fear, without trying to suppress or cling to them. Embrace the ebb and flow of life with open-hearted awareness. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine doesn't have to be complicated. Start with small, manageable steps and gradually expand your practice over time. Set aside a few minutes each day for formal meditation and sprinkle moments of mindfulness throughout your day. As you deepen your mindfulness practice, you'll begin to notice its transformative effects on your life. You'll become more attuned to your inner world and the world around you. You'll respond to challenges with greater clarity and resilience, rather than reacting impulsively. Remember, mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. There's no right or wrong way to practice, only your way. Trust yourself and trust the process. With dedication and patience, you'll unlock the power of mindfulness and cultivate a deeper sense of peace and presence in your life. Lesson 5: Practicing Non-Reactivity in Daily Life. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, practicing non-reactivity can be a transformative tool. Picture this: you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. The temptation to honk, curse, or stress out is strong. But what if, instead, you take a deep breath and let the frustration pass? This simple act is the essence of non-reactivity. Non-reactivity begins with awareness. It's about noticing your impulses and choosing a different response. In the traffic scenario, you might observe your frustration rising, but instead of letting it control you, you consciously decide to stay calm. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in practicing non-reactivity. By staying present in the moment, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. Imagine you receive an upsetting email. Rather than immediately firing off a heated response, you take a moment to pause, breathe, and consider your words. Patience is another key component. Non-reactivity isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about allowing them to arise and dissipate naturally. It's like watching clouds pass by in the sky. They come and go, but you remain grounded. Consistent practice is essential for cultivating non-reactivity. Start with small, manageable situations and gradually work your way up to more challenging ones. Whether it's a disagreement with a coworker or a family argument, approach each situation with a mindset of curiosity and openness. Self-compassion is vital in this journey. You're bound to slip up occasionally, and that's okay. Instead of berating yourself for reacting impulsively, acknowledge your humanity and commit to doing better next time. Remember, non-reactivity is a skill that takes time to develop. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. As you continue to practice, you'll find that situations that once triggered strong reactions no longer have the same power over you. Ultimately, non-reactivity is about reclaiming your power. Instead of being at the mercy of external events and emotions, you become the master of your own inner world. You can choose how you respond to life's challenges, rather than letting them dictate your mood and behavior. By incorporating non-reactivity into your daily life, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. No matter what storms may come your way, you remain steady and grounded, like a sturdy tree swaying gently in the wind. So, the next time you find yourself in a stressful situation, remember the power of non-reactivity. Take a deep breath, pause, and choose your response wisely. In doing so, you'll unlock a newfound sense of freedom and serenity that will positively impact every aspect of your life. Lesson 6: The Benefits of Non-Reactivity. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions and reactions. But what if there's another way? What if we could find a sense of calm amidst the chaos? That's where the power of non-reactivity comes in. Imagine a scenario. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your first instinct might be to honk the horn, curse, and let frustration take over. But what if you paused for a moment? What if you took a deep breath and chose not to react? This simple shift in mindset can have profound benefits. By practicing non-reactivity, we gain greater control over our emotions. Instead of being slaves to our impulses, we become masters of our own minds. This inner peace allows us to respond to life's challenges with clarity and grace. Non-reactivity also fosters healthier relationships. When we don't react impulsively, we avoid saying or doing things we might later regret. Instead, we approach conflicts with compassion and understanding, fostering deeper connections with those around us. Moreover, non-reactivity leads to greater emotional resilience. Instead of getting swept away by every up and down, we learn to ride the waves of life with equanimity. This resilience helps us bounce back from setbacks stronger than ever before. But perhaps the most powerful benefit of non-reactivity is the sense of freedom it brings. When we're no longer slaves to our reactions, we're free to live authentically and align with our true values. This freedom empowers us to live life on our own terms, regardless of external circumstances. In essence, non-reactivity is the key to unlocking a life of peace, joy, and fulfillment. It's a skill that anyone can cultivate with practice and patience. So the next time life throws you a curveball, remember the power of not reacting. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and choose peace. Your future self will thank you for it. Lesson 7: Overcoming challenges. In the journey of practicing non-reactivity, challenges are inevitable, but they are also opportunities for growth and deepening understanding. Here, we explore some common challenges and how to overcome them. Recognizing triggers. The first step in overcoming challenges is recognizing our triggers. These triggers are the situations, words, or actions that typically provoke a reactive response from us. Self-awareness. Developing self-awareness is key to recognizing these triggers. Through mindfulness practices like meditation and self-reflection, we can observe our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment. Pause and breathe. When faced with a triggering situation, it's essential to pause and take a few deep breaths. This simple act can create space between the stimulus and our response, allowing us to choose a more skillful reaction. Acceptance. Accepting that challenges are part of the journey can alleviate the resistance we feel towards them. Instead of viewing challenges as obstacles, we can see them as opportunities for growth and learning. Embracing imperfection. It's important to let go of the expectation of perfection. Non-reactivity is a skill that takes time to develop, and we will inevitably stumble along the way. Embracing our imperfections with kindness and compassion allows us to continue our journey with resilience. Cultivating patience. Patience is crucial in overcoming challenges. Change takes time, and we may not see immediate results in our practice of non-reactivity. Cultivating patience helps us stay committed to our path, even in the face of setbacks. Seeking support. Don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or a meditation community. Sharing our struggles with others can provide perspective, encouragement, and accountability. Learning from mistakes. Mistakes are opportunities for growth. When we react impulsively instead of beating ourselves up, we can reflect on what happened and how we can respond differently next time. Setting boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for protecting our well-being. Sometimes, non-reactivity means choosing not to engage in situations that consistently trigger us, or setting limits on how much time and energy we devote to them. Practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful practice that liberates us from the burden of resentment and anger. By forgiving ourselves and others for past mistakes, we free ourselves to live with greater peace and compassion. Staying present. It's easy to get caught up in regrets about the past or worries about the future. Staying present allows us to fully engage with the present moment and respond skillfully to whatever arises. Celebrating progress. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each moment of non-reactivity is a victory worth acknowledging and celebrating. By acknowledging our progress, we stay motivated and inspired to continue on our journey. Lesson 8: Compassion and Non-Reactivity. In the journey of understanding the power of not reacting, one encounters a profound ally: compassion. Compassion is the gentle force that softens the edges of our reactions, allowing us to respond with kindness and understanding. It's the understanding that everyone is fighting their own battles, and often, their reactions are a reflection of their inner struggles rather than a response to us. When we practice non-reactivity with compassion, we create space for empathy to flourish. Instead of jumping to conclusions or judging others harshly, we pause and consider their perspective. This doesn't mean we condone harmful behavior, but rather we choose to respond from a place of empathy rather than anger or resentment. Compassion also extends to ourselves. We recognize that we are not perfect and that we, too, are prone to reacting impulsively at times. Instead of berating ourselves for our mistakes, we offer ourselves the same kindness and understanding that we would extend to a friend. In cultivating compassion and non-reactivity, we learn to let go of the need to be right or to win an argument. Instead, we prioritize connection and understanding. We listen deeply to others, seeking to understand their underlying needs and emotions. This doesn't mean we suppress our own emotions or needs. Rather, we learn to express them calmly and assertively, without resorting to aggression or defensiveness. In doing so, we model healthy communication and invite others to meet us with the same level of respect and understanding. Compassion also means setting boundaries when necessary, but doing so with kindness and clarity. We recognize that saying no or asserting our needs doesn't make us selfish. It's an act of self-care and self-respect. When we approach conflicts with compassion and non-reactivity, we create the conditions for reconciliation and healing. Instead of escalating tensions, we seek common ground and explore solutions together. Practicing compassion and non-reactivity doesn't mean we never feel angry or upset. It simply means we learn to respond to these emotions with mindfulness and wisdom rather than letting them control us. In cultivating compassion and non-reactivity, we also learn to forgive others and ourselves. Holding on to grudges only weighs us down, while forgiveness liberates us from the burden of resentment. Compassion and non-reactivity are not just individual practices. They ripple outwards, creating a more harmonious and compassionate world. When we embody these qualities, we inspire others to do the same, creating a positive chain reaction of kindness and understanding. In conclusion, compassion and non-reactivity are powerful tools for fostering connection, understanding, and peace in our lives and in the world around us. By cultivating these qualities, we not only transform ourselves but also contribute to a more compassionate and empathetic society. So let us practice compassion and non-reactivity, one mindful breath at a time, and watch as it transforms our lives and the lives of those around us. Lesson 9: Integrating Non-Reactivity into Relationships. In the realm of relationships, the power of not reacting can be transformative. Picture a scenario where someone criticizes you unfairly. Your immediate instinct might be to lash out in defense or counterattack. However, if you practice non-reactivity, you can choose a different path. Instead of fueling the fire of conflict, you can respond with calmness and understanding. Think about how this approach could affect your relationships. When faced with conflict or disagreement, rather than escalating the situation, you can remain composed and open-minded. By doing so, you create space for productive dialogue and mutual understanding to flourish. Non-reactivity also involves empathetic listening. Instead of formulating your response while the other person is speaking, you genuinely focus on understanding their perspective. This simple shift can foster deeper connections and prevent misunderstandings. Furthermore, Non-reactivity encourages patience and tolerance. In moments of frustration or annoyance, rather than reacting impulsively, you take a step back and consider the bigger picture. This enables you to respond with kindness and empathy, strengthening the bonds of trust and respect in your relationships. Moreover, practicing non-reactivity cultivates emotional intelligence. Instead of allowing emotions to dictate your responses, you develop the ability to observe and regulate them. This self-awareness not only enhances your relationships but also fosters personal growth and resilience. In addition, non-reactivity promotes forgiveness and reconciliation. When conflicts arise, rather than holding on to grudges or seeking revenge, you choose to let go of negativity and embrace forgiveness. This liberating act allows healing and restoration to take place within your relationships. Furthermore, non-reactivity fosters a sense of harmony and peace in relationships. By choosing not to engage in unnecessary drama or conflicts, you create an environment where trust, love, and understanding can thrive. Moreover, non-reactivity empowers you to set healthy boundaries in relationships. Instead of being passive or overly accommodating, you assertively communicate your needs and limits. This fosters mutual respect and prevents resentment from building up. Additionally, non-reactivity encourages you to lead by example in relationships. Rather than getting caught up in gossip or negativity, you embody positivity and compassion. Your actions inspire others to cultivate similar qualities, contributing to a more harmonious and supportive social environment. Furthermore, non-reactivity enables you to navigate challenging conversations with grace and diplomacy. Instead of getting defensive or aggressive, you remain calm and collected, fostering constructive dialogue and problem-solving. Moreover, non-reactivity allows you to break free from toxic patterns in relationships. By refusing to engage in harmful behaviors like manipulation or blame-shifting, you create space for healthier dynamics to emerge. Lastly, non-reactivity promotes authenticity and vulnerability in relationships. When you express yourself honestly and openly, without fear of judgment or rejection, you invite deeper intimacy and connection into your interactions. In conclusion, integrating non-reactivity into relationships is a powerful way to cultivate harmony, understanding, and connection. By practicing empathy, patience, forgiveness, and assertiveness, you can foster healthy, fulfilling relationships built on trust, respect, and love. Lesson 10: Non-reactivity and inner peace. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, finding inner peace can seem like chasing a mirage in the desert. But what if the key to unlocking that peace lies not in chasing after it, but in simply allowing it to arise within us? This is where the power of non-reactivity comes into play. Imagine a day where nothing seems to go your way, from spilt coffee to traffic jams to missed deadlines. In each moment, there's a choice: to react with frustration, anger, or despair, or to respond with calmness and clarity. Non-reactivity isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging what arises within us without getting swept away by it. When we cultivate non-reactivity, we create a space between stimulus and response, a space where we can pause, reflect, and choose our actions wisely. This space is where true freedom lies: freedom from the grip of our emotions, freedom from habitual patterns of reaction, and ultimately, freedom from suffering. Think of a still pond reflecting the trees and the sky. When a stone is thrown into the pond, ripples appear on the surface. But beneath those ripples, the depths remain undisturbed. Similarly, non-reactivity allows us to remain rooted in our inner calmness, even amidst the storms of life. This inner peace isn't dependent on external circumstances. It's a state of being that arises from within, independent of the ups and downs of life. When we're no longer tossed around by the waves of emotion, We become like a sturdy ship navigating the sea, steady and resilient. Practicing non-reactivity isn't always easy. It requires patience, mindfulness, and self-awareness. But with each moment of practice, we strengthen our capacity to respond with grace and equanimity. And as this capacity grows, so too does our sense of inner peace. Picture a tree swaying in the wind. Its roots run deep into the earth, anchoring it firmly in place. No matter how strong the gusts may be, the tree remains steadfast. In the same way, non-reactivity roots us in our inner strength, allowing us to weather the storms of life with grace and resilience. But perhaps the greatest gift of non-reactivity is the deep sense of peace it brings to our relationships. When we're no longer reacting from a place of fear or defensiveness, we can truly listen to others with an open heart. We can respond to conflict with compassion rather than aggression, fostering understanding and harmony. Ultimately, the journey of non-reactivity is a journey towards self-discovery and liberation. As we learn to let go of our attachments and aversions, we discover a profound sense of freedom within ourselves. And in this freedom, we find the peace that transcends all understanding. So, as you go about your day, remember the power of non-reactivity. Pause, breathe, and choose your response wisely. In each moment lies the opportunity to cultivate inner peace, a peace that emanates from the depths of your being, touching not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. Conclusion. In the grand tapestry of life, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, triumphs and tribulations, one truth shines through: the power of not reacting. It's a simple yet profound concept that can transform the way we experience the world. At its core, non-reactivity is about reclaiming our power to choose how we respond to life's challenges. It's a skill honed through mindfulness, allowing us to pause, breathe, and consider our actions before we act. By embracing non-reactivity, we break free from the chains of habitual patterns and automatic responses. Instead of being swept away by the tide of emotions, we become the calm center amidst the storm, grounded in our own inner strength. This journey isn't always easy. It requires dedication, patience, and a willingness to face our fears and insecurities head-on. But with each step we take, we inch closer to liberation, finding greater peace and clarity along the way. Non-reactivity isn't about suppressing emotions or denying our humanity. It's about holding space for all that arises within us with compassion and understanding. In doing so, we cultivate a sense of inner spaciousness where peace can flourish. As we navigate the ups and downs of life, non-reactivity becomes our steadfast companion, guiding us through the darkest of nights and the brightest of days. It reminds us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by how we choose to respond to them. In the midst of conflict and chaos, non-reactivity is our greatest weapon, disarming hostility and fostering reconciliation. It's a beacon of hope in a world often overshadowed by anger and division. But perhaps most importantly, non-reactivity is a pathway to freedom, freedom from the tyranny of our own minds, freedom from the grip of past traumas, and freedom to live fully in the present moment. So, as we bid farewell to this journey through the power of not reacting, let us carry its lessons with us wherever we go. May we walk with mindfulness, speak with kindness, and love with an open heart, knowing that true liberation lies within the power of our own choices.